What's up, everybody? It's your boy DaveBSoul. Welcome back to the Soul Cave. We about to get into this vegan mac and cheese. It's real special. Let's go. Alright, first what you want to do is preheat your oven at 375 degrees. I already got that going. It's upstairs in the kitchen. Right now we in the Soul Cave, so we about to get it. Now, after that, bring your water to a boil. Don't matter how much water you use, And now I have some macaroni, probably about 2.5 cups of it. We're just gonna put it in there. Add a little bit of salt. You gotta season your noodles. Tastes real good. Alright. Cover that back up, bring it back up to a boil. But you don't want to cook it too long because you're putting it in the oven. So I would say bring it back up to a boil, let it boil for a good 6-7 minutes. Maybe a little longer depending on how it is after that 6-7 minutes. Now, what we need to do at this point is finish preparing our cheese. I got right here a block of feta cheese, a little chunk of Parmesan, and 2 bags of shredded cheddar. Now, I will say this, all of the cheese products that I'm using today are from Violife. They're my favorite vegan cheese brand. All of them taste pretty spot on to regular milk cheese and things like that. And they cook really well. The cheddar actually melts really nicely. It stretches real good. I've used that cheddar, the mozzarella, all of that good stuff in lasagna, and it turns out phenomenal each and every time. And tastes out of this world. Alright, so with that being said, I'm gonna set that back over there and finish cutting up my feta cheese, because that's going in the sauce. So you know what it's time for, right? My black ass knife. My black ass knife. Alright. So what we're gonna do, what I've already done is diced up half of this, and I've cut it again, and I'm just gonna finish dicing it up. And this is one whole package. Now if you don't like feta cheese, you don't have to use it. I think it adds a very nice, unique flavor to the sauce. I'm just gonna chop that up nice and fine. Dice it, But this adds that really silky, creamy texture to it as well. If you don't want to use this, you can use Violife's plain cream cheese. That works just fine. And it also tastes spot on cream cheese as well. But I like that. I like to do things a little different, And this is a product from Greece. It's not from America, but you can easily find it on Amazon Fresh. You can get them in specialty stores, like we have one here called Jungle Gems. I find it there. And it's all about your flavor preference, whatever you want to use on it, okay? Alright, that's done. I'm going to go ahead on and grate up the rest of my Parmesan cheese. The Parmesan is solely for the topping. If you want to add some of this in there, into the sauce or into your mixture, you can do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put it all on the top. And this is real good for if you want to make an Alfredo sauce as well. Get you some Parmesan cheese. I like to call it Parmesan. So if you ever hear me say Parmesan, I did it on purpose. I know how to say it. But grate up your Parmesan. this also adds a little bit of salt to it as well. So this will cook up and give it a nice little topping on it. And we may not even use this whole little piece. It just depends on how you like it. That's all of the cheese preparation. We've cut all the cheese and we've grated up the cheese. Our shredded cheddar is already shredded. Let's check on these noodles, see what's going on with them. So you want to cook these al dente because, again, like I said before, you're going to put these in. You're gonna put the noodles, you're gonna put it in the oven. So you don't wanna overcook your noodles because they'll be super mushy and nobody likes mushy macaroni and cheese. See, I got me a little noodle right there. I'll bring it over here. And just check it. And the best way to check it is to perfect. Cut your burner off. Bring this back here to your strainer. Strain it over the sink, and then rinse them with cold water. While the noodles are cooling off, just go ahead and get started with the sauce. And for the sauce, we're gonna turn it to a medium heat. And while that's heating up, I've prepared for the sauce 2 tablespoons of butter. And it's vegan butter. 1 tablespoon of flour. I actually have Kentucky Colonel here. I grew up using Kentucky Colonel in just about all of the recipes that we ate at the house, from fried chicken to macaroni and cheese, so that's what we're going to be using today. I got a little bit of Dijon mustard. You don't have to add that in, but I think it adds a little tang on it. 3 tablespoons of coconut milk. I also have some onion powder and some special shit seasoning. And then I also have 1 5.4 ounce can of coconut cream and a cup of chicken broth. And this is from my favorite brand as well. This is called Not Chicken. Oops, got a spoon. Just gonna give that a stir. 8 ounces of hot water and 1 packet. I know the directions say you're supposed to use 2 cups of water for this, but it'll be fine. The flavor makes it jump off really nicely. So just make sure that that's good and stirred. I'm gonna start by making the roux, which is your butter and your flour. Melted. Now that that's good and melted, we're gonna go ahead and add on our flour. Whisk. Keep going in there. Butter gets all over each little part of that. Alright, what we're going to do at this point is add in our coconut cream. This gives it that nice richness also. So if you notice, we got a lot of things that's adding richness to this dish. But I promise you, it'll all be worth it. Take your spatula. That going in there like so. Break it up a little bit. Now we go back to the whisk. Whisk it all together. And then next we're gonna add in our feta cheese and our chicken broth. Actually, we can go ahead and add the feta cheese in now so it can get started melting. Remember, that's 1 whole pack of feta cheese. Again, if you don't like feta cheese, use cream cheese instead. And then while we're melting that, we're gonna add in our mustard. Our onion powder. 1 tablespoon of onion powder. Now we're not gonna use all of this seasoning because again, it has a lot of salt in it already from the cheese and from the Kentucky Colonel. But we are going to add some in there to give it a nice little flavor and also add a little bit of color to it as well. Add about half of what I got here, so maybe like half a tablespoon. And if we need to add some more in a little bit later, we can do just that. All right, I'm just adding a small little pinch of garlic in there. Turn it up just a little bit. And then maybe that was probably about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Same with black pepper. You don't want to put too much black pepper in there. Your macaroni and cheese looks great. That's not what we do. We're not about that life. All right, keep on stirring that. Make sure the cheese is melting down real good. Start in by adding a little bit, nice and slow, of the chicken broth. And at this point, you can alternate between the chicken broth and some of the cheese, some of the shredded cheddar, which I think I like to add a little bit to the sauce too. So I'm gonna add a little bit to the sauce. Nice little. Boom, 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 boom. There you go. Add a little more of the brothy broth. Now you don't have to use all of this broth if you don't want to. Yeah, nice little stir. Make sure all of it's nice and incorporated. Now while that's coming together, set that back there. Get out your big mixing bowl. And we're gonna start mixing up some of this. So I'm gonna take a good portion of my cooked noodles, maybe about half of them, in a mixing bowl like that. Big handful of cheese. More noodles. And some more of the cheese. Just gonna take our spatula, make sure that's all mixed up. Alright, check on the sauce, see how it's doing. Still a little thin. That's alright, it's gonna cook up. that's cooking up, get your pan together, like so. All right, now we can go ahead and cut that off and mix this right in the bowl with our cheese and our noodles. Back in the day when my mom used to make this macaroni and cheese, she would layer cheese and noodles in the pan and then drizzle the sauce in that way, like use the end of a wooden spoon and just like poke it down in there. Because she used to use different types of cheeses and all of that kind of stuff, and it will be cut in blocks instead of shredded like what I'm using here. Alright. It's looking nice and lovely, y'all. And if you want to, add another cheese in there. Make sure you save some for the top. Mix it up real good. Make sure all of the noodles are nice and coated. Now, what we're gonna do is take our pan. And you can butter this, you can grease it if you want to. I'm not going to. Just dump it right in the pan. Yes, Lord. There it is. Smooth it out. That just looks beautiful, y'all. Alright. If you see any of your little edges like that that are not covered in sauce, just flip it around a little bit and sauce. Sprinkle the last little bit of our cheddar on top. Put our grated Parmesan on top. Now, you know what? I think I'm gonna add a little bit more of the seasoning on top of it just to give it that extra jump off the color as well. Make sure it's seasoned nicely. Now, put some foil on this, put it in the oven for 30 minutes, take off the foil, cook it for another 15 so your cheese gets all melty and gooey and bubbly and crusty. Alright, so I'm about to go do that. We'll be right back. Alright, y'all, welcome back. It's time to dig into our macaroni and cheese. We cooked it on 30 minutes, on 375 for 30 minutes. And then that was covered, and we took the foil off of it and cooked it for another 15 minutes. After that, this looks incredible. I want y'all to see this. Hang on. This pan is still a little hot. I've let it cool for about 7 minutes or so, but it's still a little warm. But check that out, y'all. Lord have mercy. Macaroni and cheese. The Parmesan is on there. The cheddar is on there. The cheddar's in there. The feta is in there. You got the chicken broth. All of that kind of stuff. we about to dig in and see what it's talking about. You even got your little crusty bits on the end for those of y'all that like crusty parts. Pause. Lord have mercy. That's what I'm talking about right there. Vegan mac and cheese. Baked mac and cheese. Smells good. Alright, now for the taste test. Still piping hot. Well, let's see how it tastes. Noodles ain't overcooked. It's nice and cheesy. Look at that drip right there. Look at the drip. That's the drip. Drip. I'm done cooking. Y'all can have the rest of this show.